So the LG C1 is on your left, the LG C2 is on your right, and here you see Returnal up on the screen. Now, in 2021, a popular new feature came with the LG C1, and that was the Game Bar and Game Optimizer. Let me bring that up. Now, what's different between the C1 and C2? You look here, not much at first glance. They have the FPS, variable refresh rate, black stabilizer, and latency functions all listed at the top here. The only difference is the order of the information, but otherwise it's the same information. In the center, you can change the picture setting if you so choose. But then when you look down here on the C2, below, you can see that there are a few changes, okay? You do have all settings, which is the same on both. You have Game Optimizer submenu, which is the same on both. But then you go to the left and you see Multi-View here on the C2. So under Multi-View now you have the option straight from the game bar of doing picture-in-a-picture, screen share, camera, launch combination of 1, launch combination of 2. So that's pretty cool to have picture-in-a-picture option available right here off of the game bar. And then if you go left of that, you have another new feature for 2022, and that's a darkroom mode. So if you are doing perhaps some marathon gaming late at night, and your eyes are strained, you're getting a headache, you can do level 1 darkroom and level 2 darkroom. It just, as you can see, it dims down the screen just a bit to kind of preserve your eyes, maybe if they're dry or bothering you. But I don't ever use it, so yeah, multi-view and darkroom mode are new on the game bar for the LG C2. Otherwise, they are pretty much identical. Now, if we go into the Game Optimizer submenu settings, we can take a look at what's changed and what's the same. So right off the bat, you can tell that the C2 loads menus and submenus much faster than the C1. That is painfully apparent. Now, the very first thing you can see is the game genre. And if you look, FPS, RPG, and RTS are the same between both. The only addition for 2022 is the sports game genre mode. If you click on it, it makes the screen a tad bit brighter, and all it really does is raise black stabilizer to 12. Honestly, I don't really play any sports games, so I haven't really tested out this picture setting. Usually, no matter what game I'm playing, I just leave it at standard. So we go back. Now, below that on the C1, you can see black stabilizer and white stabilizer are available for manipulation here. Now, if you look on the C2, you don't see it right below game genre. What you have to do is you have to go up and over to picture, and here you're able to change the black stabilizer and white stabilizer values. Now let's go back to game and continue our comparison here. We'll come back to this picture tab in just a second on the C2. So OLED Motion Pro, that's black frame insertion. That is available within the Game Optimizer submenu on both TVs. Now the major difference between the two here, the C1 can do BFI at 120 Hz. The C2 can only do BFI at 60 Hz. That, for some people, is an absolute deal breaker. I don't use BFI too often because I feel like it just dims the screen too much, but a lot of people, they enjoy the enhanced motion resolution you get from BFI at 120 Hz, and sadly LG, for whatever reason, has removed it from the LG C2. Going on further, you see reduced blue light is an option on both. Again, darkroom mode is new for the C2. You don't have it on the C1. We talked about that already. But if you go further down, you see prevent input delay, input lag. You see here that both TVs have both standard and boost. Now, boost on both TVs has about the same input lag of about 9 to 10 milliseconds for a 60 Hz signal. Now, boost only works on 60 Hz signals. It does not work on 120 Hz signals. Going further, game dashboard is obviously engaged. AI game sound is on both. Both TVs have VRR and G-Sync functionality. Both TVs have AMD FreeSync Premium functionality. And both TVs have an option to fine-tune dark areas because sadly, when VRR is engaged, VRR flicker is still an issue, sadly. And then you come to menu color, and orange, green, violet is the same options on both TVs. So really, not much has changed except for multi-view and darkroom mode in the game bar. And then within the Game Optimizer submenu settings, nothing has really changed. It's pretty much the exact same thing. except for the fact that here on the C2 you don't have immediate access to the stabilizer options like you do on the C1. But that changes when you go up and over to picture. So, the C1 doesn't have this capability. So you click on picture on the C2, that's where black stabilizer and white stabilizer become available for change. But then when you go further down, you see that you can adjust all of the minute picture settings for game mode right here within Game Optimizer. So the contrast, the black level, the sharpness, the color depth, the dynamic tone mapping, whether or not to use HGig off or on is all available right here under the Picture tab in Game Optimizer. If you want to change these settings on the LG C1, what you have to do is bring up the game bar, and then you have to go to Settings, and then it brings you into the TV's full submenu setting, where you have to navigate through, you have to go to brightness, you have to click on all the various tabs, so there's far more steps involved on the LG C1. However, on the C2, if you're already in the Game Optimizer and you're adjusting your black and white stabilizer levels, you can continue to further adjust right here, which is really, really convenient. It's just really is a quality of life enhancement, I think, for the LG C2, and it's much appreciated, especially being able to change the dynamic tone mapping right here within the Optimizer. Now, another new option in the 2022 LG C2 is wide aspect ratio. You can do 21:9, 32:9, in addition to the default 16:9. Now, if you look at the write-up here, it says you can change the aspect ratio to an ultra-wide aspect ratio. This will be available only in games that support ultra-wide resolution. So this is certainly a nice feature to have. It's not something that I use often, or at all, really, but it's there. And it is nice to have, and it is not available on the LG C1. And then if we go down, there's another option here called screen position. When you set the screen as an ultra-wide aspect ratio, the screen position can be changed from the middle to the top and bottom. So you get a little bit of orientation control over the aspect ratio. And then that's pretty much it. If you click on Advanced Picture Settings, it brings you into the full menu system for the LG C2. So that is roughly it as far as changes for the LG C2 over the C1, as far as, what's similar, what's different. Again, on the game bar, almost identical, except for down here, the multi-view option and the darkroom mode options have been added for 2022. And then within the Game Optimizer submenu system, as you saw, the Picture tab has been added for 2022 with the C2, and the ability to adjust the contrast, black level, sharpness, and color depth, and the tone mapping without having to go into the TV's main picture settings, and the ability for the wide aspect ratio and screen position to be changed. Otherwise, if you go back to the Game tab on the C2, everything is identical, from BFI to reducing blue light, to the game dashboard, to the AI game sound, to VRR and G-Sync, to AMD FreeSync Premium, and fine-tuned dark areas. So that's going to do it for this quick comparison video of the Game Bar and Game Optimizer submenu systems. If you have any questions or comments, as usual, leave them down below and I will always get back to you. And if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful in any way, please leave a like, please comment and subscribe, and share if you'd like. And until next time, guys, I will see you later. Bye.